Good afternoon.
How's everybody doing today? Welcome to H&D Abroad. I'm Herman.
I am Dee, and we are excited to double down on a important move abroad topic of what is the difference between residency and citizenship. Really thinking about what is your purpose, what is your strategy for leaving your home country, and embracing all that your current passport or future passports have to offer. I know that we're excited about this topic because it's giving us focus. It's also shedding light on some opportunities that as we learn more, y'all know that's what our community is all about. As we learn, we share, and we're hoping that you'll do the same with us. Our channel is about documenting our move abroad process, and that move abroad process is trucking along.
Yeah, we're narrowing down the places and the options, and feeling pretty good about some of our options looking forward, which we will be discussing.
And the real work of getting rid of stuff and putting away, those funds that we know we need to get started, and we'll be there for emergencies. So if you are a person that is considering or just want to be the fly on the wall watching what this looks like, so maybe it will be a part of the vision that you have for yourself, for you and your partner, and or for your family. Please feel free to
like this video. Don't feel free. Stop and like the video. Now your hands are right there on the computer. Hit like. Please subscribe to our channel, definitely. And hit the notification bell so that whenever we go live, you can join in on this conversation with us, because this is a conversation. Dee and I love talking to each other, but that's not what this is about. This is about including our community, which is you, in a conversation that helps Dee and I grow and make our decisions about what it is we're doing and where we're going. And without the community that is you, we're just guessing. So please join us in that conversation. We'll start off by giving a shout out to all of our good friends who are here already. Hey, servant teacher Nikki. Hey, Tanya. It's a Wonderful Travel Life. That's Big Dave. And our good friend Greta.
Happy birthday, Greta. Happy birthday. I told her, I said, we need to make sure we shout out Greta today. She had a birthday this week, and
share a good birthday with my grandmother.
That's right. That's right. So just want to say thank you for everybody that's joining. Make sure you are saying hello in the chat. If you are joining us in the future, welcome from the future. We invite you to put #replay. Let us know how this topic is resonating with you. Any questions that you have, we go back and answer every single comment and response. And so I just want to invite you to do that today. So what is the difference? So my background is in education. Most folk know I have a graduate degree in education. Herman comes from a long line. His whole family practically is teachers. So we thought,
literally,
let's throw a little bit of vocabulary out there again, as we're massaging what these opportunities within our visa. We're setting this conversation as people who live in the United States and are citizens of this country. So our U.S. passport is our primary way to enter and exit countries, or is a barrier to other places. So, but like, can I leverage that to do something else?
And feel free, as we're talking, if you've moved abroad or you're doing the research to move abroad and you have some specific examples, add that into this chat. Let us know some of the examples of things you've dealt with visas versus citizenship as we discuss this topic.
Yeah. So I actually asked Herman, the focus really is residency versus citizenship, but thought we'd start with the visa conversation because that I think is a common access point. If you're, someone that has done some international travel for vacation, you may be aware that unless you're the U.S. Virgin Islands or Puerto Rico, or Guam, that you need to have an active passport when you go to those places. Um, but having a tourist visa in other places is something that that gives you the ability to go and spend some time and spend some money.
Mm-hmm.
It's why places have tourist visas in a new place. It's usually for most U.S. places, that the U.S. passport gives access to is somewhere between 3 months or 90 days and 180 days.
You're strictly there as a visitor.
Right.
They're expecting you there to visit and then be prepared to
head back to where you came from. So, I mean, I think, there are a lot of places that we want to try on. A tourist visa is perfect for a scouting trip. Mm-hmm. And so, kind of understanding that you may need to show some documents, mm-hmm. Because what we are seeing in just the 2 years that we've been having this conversation on YouTube, that some things that were a given, that yes, you would get an automatic 180 days when you would get your passport stamped in Mexico, isn't always the case. And if you've been following the Mexico content, that you can see that the agent at customs is the one that will determine how much time you spend in that country. And so people have shown, hey, I've got a return ticket for some places. They've shown, hey, I have an Airbnb reservation. So yes. Thank you, Greta. Yes, retirement visas are also driving part of our look at places. I consider the retirement visa is actually an extension of that residency visa mm-hmm. conversation. Because if you're looking at a retirement visa, you're looking at staying for a little while, because the retirement visas are asking you to put some money down. Mm-hmm. We've talked about Thailand. Mm-hmm. And the Philippines as being some places. And so the amount of money that they want you to deposit in the bank is a lot lower than some of the other places that we have been looking at. I think the last time I looked, for Thailand, it was 24,000 that you needed to show up front, which that bar is a lot lower than some of the other places. But also, y'all, if you are 50 years old or older, retirement visas are available to you in multiple places in the world, which means we can be there without having to show economic solvency outside of what we deposit mm-hmm. in the bank. Some countries, after the first year, like in Ecuador, they allow you to start drawing down some of those funds. So, I think it's important to take a look. If you're looking at what could my access be to a place, check out the retirement visa also. If you're thinking that age could be something that you could leverage. But the temporary residency visa, now, we are talking not as experts. We're talking as people who are learning.
As researchers.
Yes.
As planners.
And as people who have done the thing. Yeah. I learned more about what is a temporary visa and a permanent residency. So temporary residency visa, permanent residency visa were not terms that I was very familiar with.
And I think this term residency is where a lot of people get confused between what is a residency visa and what is citizenship.
Yeah.
Because residency, we use resident in I live here, and we associate I live here and I'm a part of this community, I'm a part of the environment, which in and of itself is correct. But a visa affords you, a residency visa affords you the opportunity to say, I can freely move in and out of a country in whatever time frame that is, either whether it's temporary or permanent. You cannot vote as a temporary or a permanent resident,
correct,
of a country.
Yeah.
You can abide, you can, yes, abide there, you can live there freely, you can buy land, you can buy property, you can.
There are, I mean, you'd have to look at the requirements there, but it gives you more access than a tourist visa. You can get a bank account in a lot of places because you are a resident, whereas you can't get those. And I'm thinking about Southeast Asia. We've looked at, Malaysia and Indonesia and places like that, where those are the entry points. If part of your strategy is to be able to leverage some of the banking and finance opportunities in a place, to be able to qualify to purchase land, then that's why I keep going back to, what are you wanting to do when you are, what is your plan? If your plan is to bop around, maybe the tourist visa is really what you need. It's a low entry point. You're not hitting any tax. Woo, taxes, baby. Taxes are some of what those of us who are between, having some money, but not having retirement residual income, are looking at. We have to work. And so, what are the tax implications for being in a place? The digital nomad visa, if we're mentioning the kinds of visas, will allow you to be there a little bit longer, has some taxes, but you also, in that visa, are also able to work. But also places that have digital nomad visa options are countries that have invested in the infrastructure to attract. So we're talking about 5G, fiber, internet, the digital internet cafes, and things like that are what, because I've been watching the what's happening in Malaysia. And if you are watching Sandra's channel, she was just talking about the difference between her Wi-Fi experience in Thailand and when she hit the ground in Malaysia, how totally different those two experiences were. And so, kind of having a concept of what do I want to do will hopefully help you to give you a path to finding your places. Then you're thinking about, how long do I want to stay there, and what approach do I need to take to being there for that amount of time.
I think parallel to the, maybe a higher subset, depending on how you look at it, of that digital nomad visa is the overarching, the work visa. That we have friends, AG3.
Yeah,
they moved because of their jobs. Their jobs are in Spain, and so they have work visas because of their work there. And so they're under that context. And I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if that work ends, then
your visa ends.
Then your visa ends.
Yeah, same for NowCap. We've talked about the North American language. Oh, come on. Let's see. North American Language and Cultural Exchange Program.
You got it.
Okay. I'm trying to get that down.
I couldn't remember what the middle word was.
We applied for that. And, reading more. If you quit as a teaching assistant during that time, or when the school year ends, and and you have not reapplied and gotten, there's a certain document, I can't remember what the name of it is off the top of my head, but then you have to leave until you get the proper documents to re-enter the country. So, you know,
which is slightly different from the digital nomad visa because you are working online. So your online work
does not impact the local culture.
Correct.
I mean, you know, you're really earning your money outside of the country, but you are spending an extended amount of time.
Greta was asking, was the internet faster or slower?
So internet was faster in Malaysia. If you have not looked at the digital nomad visa for Malaysia came online January of this. No, I feel like it was late last year, but I've been following a couple, and they had been there and are now recently applied and gotten accepted into the digital nomad visa program. So if y'all are interested in Thailand, I can definitely drop that. But yeah, they have some really fast internet in Malaysia. They have what they call digital nomad hubs there. So there are some cities that are specifically clusters for that they're building, like the housing, the the coffee shops, the things that are kind of synonymous with the digital nomad lifestyle. So even how people want to rent spaces, but definitely making sure that they've invested in the transportation infrastructure, the technology infrastructure to support people who are coming just to live and contribute, but also run their businesses from those places. The financial markets are lining up with that. So they're doing a lot in those places. And I always say, I mean, if you're not watching politically what's happening, if you're not sticking your head in a couple of different areas, you can catch where some places that have been considered, and I hate this term, but third world is, if you're old enough to know, we're calling them emerging markets or emerging economies. Getting in at the very early stages of that could definitely be beneficial. So that's a part of the research. Thank you, Bayesian Alpha, for going that work visa. Looking at the work visa as a tack on to you're doing that plus for some places, plus a temporary or plus a permanent residency. And so, or the digital nomad visa, they understand, and you have to prove that you have to have documentation that your employer will allow you to work remotely, that they're not based in that country. That's the digital nomad visa. They're also wanting you to prove with bank statements that you have a certain amount of money hitting your account, to prove that you have a history. Now, one of the things in Spain, because we were looking at, could we or should we do that versus the student visa there? They want the employer to say that you will be continuously employed for 2 years into the future. Baby, I want that kind of job security as well. So if you can know how to have me tell my employer to put that in writing, I would really appreciate that. But for some countries, that is what is expected. So there are a lot of Facebook groups, Reddit, subthreads that are talking about digital nomad visa, that application process, so that you don't hit, barriers. People are laying out exactly what they're doing, exactly who they're hiring or what they are studying that help their application to be successful. So it is, especially post-pandemic, the digital nomad visa is kind of a quick entry point. I mean, places that had very few options, it's a way to quickly infuse money into their while they're building up other areas. So
also gives you a little bit of control as an employee. One of the things that we're looking at is trying to find online work. Finding online work opens up that digital nomad and say, hey, I'll be working, but I will not be working anywhere within the country because a lot of places have limited work opportunities for you. Some require for you to have, I think I may be repeating what you said, for you to have a residency and then have to apply for a work visa to do certain kinds of work in the country. You have to do both. And you should find out that research, because if you need both, you need to have them in the necessary order for what you're wanting to do. But if you have that digital nomad visa and you say, hey, I'm taken care of employment wise. You don't have, I won't be looking for work here. My work is covered, especially if you work for a known company.
Yeah, I mean, it's, as an entrepreneur, the digital nomad visa really is heavily used by entrepreneurs. So I run a business from my laptop, and people are doing all kinds of things, from clinical therapy to drop shipping. I mean, it's and everything in between. If you can, do it from a laptop interface with a digital hub, offering consultation or consulting services, then, you have to show steady money. And that's just like in the US. We don't want immigrants coming in and taking jobs. That's a big area of concern. Other countries are saying the same thing. If your move abroad is based on me finding a job in another country, there are a couple of reasons why, and Stephanie has shared those on her channel. Adelia Borshade, Picky Girl Travels the World, has also talked about the cost of living is lower. That's what is usually attractive to folks like us. That'll be on a skeleton budget as we figure things out. But also the pay structure for companies that are based there are based on that. So if you are looking, nobody wants you to take the jobs that are available to local people. There are restrictions, and let's see, who is that? Greta mentioned Panama. I know in Ecuador as well. The professional visa is something else. I keep jumping back to visa, but the professional visa gives you a path as well. So you might want to look. I know Ecuador and Panama are two that I'm following, but I'm pretty sure that there are other countries. With Ecuador, it's an associate's degree where you can get access to that visa, but a bachelor's degree for both. But it must be in, there are some restricted professions where you cannot access that visa. And so, and others you could. So I saw psychology was a no-no on one, but a yes on the other. So
it depends on where you are. And I think this question that Greta has is tied to that as well. Stephen from Living, Loving Abroad.
Yes.
He offered a great set of advice. He said, if you're going to start a YouTube page and you're moving somewhere else, start it before you leave the States.
Yes.
So that you, receive state level pay, and that you are receiving your I guess your economics are tied to the United States versus the pay they have, pay structures under other countries.
Right.
Is that a digital nomad visa? I guess it would depend probably on how heavily you were.
Yeah, I think you probably could. I mean, for most of us that that are monetized, it is within a business structure. And so within a business structure, you're able to, to show, tax documents and other things that prove, the sustainability of your business, the deposits from YouTube and from the other things that contribute to your business. I don't think, y'all, please don't leave the country on YouTube income alone.
Yeah, because
that is highly risky and up for debate every single month. I mean, you never know when your page is going to get shut down,
it is our recommendation.
The algorithm will change, and that your audience may shift with it, or other things. It is a revenue stream.
Mm-hmm.
We are rivers of income people. Thank you, Stephanie Perry, for that. And so I think when you're looking at, yes, YouTube is a part of what would make up our ability to apply for a digital nomad visa. But I think the other things that contribute to the business structure that is built around it is what would justify what is the documentation we would provide to a government where we would access that. So let's see. So residency is, for us, we would be accepting whatever taxation requirements were under that.
Mm-hmm.
Some places that happens, where people are being taxed as temporary and permanent residents. Some places, as long as you earn your income outside the country and you are a temporary or permanent resident,
right,
you don't owe that government any money. Thank you for contributing as a person that is contributing by your housing dollars, your eating, your transportation dollars, shopping dollars.
A positive, I was going to say citizen.
Yeah,
a positive resident.
And you're being a positive resident.
Right. Yeah.
But there are some things that that citizenship doesn't give you access to, and one of them, when you're looking at residency or citizenship in a strategy, how does this help me accomplish some of my goals outside of being in a beautiful place, is passport.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. This part of the conversation didn't come for us until we started watching some other channels that began to say, the political situation, the financial requirements, or demands,
sometimes the time frame,
for the country where you have a passport can shift or change.
Mm-hmm.
And that when you are a person with more than one passport, then you have the ability to use your alternate passports for access to other places. But also, if you need to let go of said citizenship,
because
you've got somewhere to go.
I
was like, man, living, loving abroad, y'all must have heard us talking.
We talked them up.
So I think, this whole strategy of, residency, citizenship should not be foreign, especially in the Black Move Abroad community. If you were watching people talk about the D7 visa before the recent change, and I know Greta and I were like eyes wide open, with that, people were able to get quickly, access to the Schengen zone. You can be there for more than 9 months. It was a path to citizenship. And so those visas, the residency, temporary and permanent residencies are a part of the visas, but I see residency as a path to citizenship. And so the investment comes with either a time requirement.
Mhm.
And now that we've got the experts on the line with Stephen and LaShawn, if you've got time to spend in country, that's usually how you go from the getting a temporary visa to a permanent. I know in Mexico, we have talked about the reason why we extended our temporary visa so that we could qualify for permanent residency, that path, we were able to lay down cash because it was affordable,
Mhm.
okay, to be able to go to the front of the line for permanent residency without the requirement currently for time in country, even though we will be spending more time there as part of our Blacksit.
I think it's important to caveat in here something we say all the time. This is very important for doing your research, because you said at the top of the statement, you having dual citizenship. Excuse me. That's not available everywhere.
And not to every country.
And not to every country.
Right.
Some citizenships allow the opportunity for dual citizenships with other countries, because you get a citizenship. You gave me an example earlier, which was
Argentina and Spain.
Argentina, Spain. So you receive a citizenship in Argentina, it makes you eligible for citizenship in Spain. But I think if you have a citizenship in Spain, you have to Spain, you have to renounce your citizenship from your American passport?
Correct.
Yeah. So you need to know that there are some places that say this is the only passport you can have, or countries with whom, for lack of a better way to put it, we have colonized history.
It's very true.
For lack of a better way to put it, places we've colonized in the past, you can have dual citizenship with them, but you may have to renounce your American citizenship. So you want to know, is a path to citizenship necessary for you, beneficial for you in that factor, as well as the investment process going in. Some, if you have
100,000, 400,000, $500,000, more,
you can lay it down, and the path to citizenship is faster. I know a lot of the golden visas are going away fast.
Yes.
If there's any left, they are being, and that is pretty much just, for lack of a better say, big baller money laid down, and you can pretty much purchase through investments, through banking, through purchasing of property, through business structures, you can acquire a passport. And a lot of those, countries are saying, hey, if you're not planning to be here or spend, again, everybody doesn't want you to stay. Some people just want you to invest. So, if you pop through once a year, they can care less if your investment in their country's infrastructure is viable.
But they set those rules, and you have to abide by them. I know that we have it.
Excuse me.
I'm not going to call them Middle East. I'm going to call them Western Asia.
Okay.
Or Far Eastern Europe. Even some of those opportunities, people were looking at the UAE and other places. Things are shifting and changing, and the opportunities today may not be the opportunities that are available next year, later this year. So if you're considering these, it's always hindsight is 2020, of course. The best time to have planted a tree was 20 years ago. And so what opportunities we have available now, I think people should be thinking about them, because if I don't have the cash, I can still go to a place. I will just need to spend more time there. So you have options, and that's Mm. Those of us who are on a budget,
Hmm.
it is, I think, a value we bring to this process is that we're willing to spend the time in a place. Talking to Stephen and LaShawn, and you know, I'm in a great place. I'm in a beautiful place in Ecuador. I love the city that I'm in. I found other places that are really nice, but I found my place. Do I need to be a citizen here? Not necessarily, but I, because I'm living there, I have established the criteria so that I have the option or the opportunity if it presents itself, or I see things shifting and changing, where then I can just step into the process. I put in the resident, the time in country, and I've learned the language. That's something else when you are going from a permanent resident status
Hmm.
to citizenship. That one of the requirements is, two of the requirements are usually that you've spent some time, that's going to vary by country, and that you have um, knowledge of the history. Some of them have like a test, a history test, but and also a language test. So one of my favorite uh, plant-based YouTubers is in the Netherlands. Pick Up Limes, Limes, Pick Up Limes. She showed her process of learning the language. She's Canadian, and like she was like it was a struggle, but she knew that she wanted to do that for herself. And so that kind of investment is valued because that means you are culturally aware, that you are, they're asking you, if you're going to be naturalized as a citizen, that you at least know something about the place.
And I think that those are still, and I think that this is core of what we talk about, and is proof in this process, is those are core in the consideration of accepting you as resident or as citizen, is your investment in the culture, the environment, the history.
Because they will ask you,
Yeah.
when we told it in our Mexico visa, she asked, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Why do you want to be a temporary resident? You should think that through.
They are protecting, countries are more and more protecting their history, protecting their resources. Um, and they want to know that you are openly trying to be a part of it. You're not trying to come in and gentrify it or, acquire, take over, that you want to be a part of what's happening in the environment. And that I think is impactful to the consideration of being either a resident or a citizen.
Yeah, thank you, Nikki, so much. For talking about that. There are people that move and never learn the language. It's. I would hope that people are intentional about language, because we are moving with the purpose of um, wanting a deeper awareness, a deeper connection to other cultures, to truly embrace, I am a world citizen, which means there are some languages that are harder than others. And you gotta, at least I'm learning, please, restroom, thank you. Just some basic words or phrases, and greetings also, because I've watched that a lot with our guy in Thailand. Um,
Isaiah.
um, oh, y'all, I was gonna try to say it,
Uh-oh.
and the spirit blocked me, so I'm not gonna even try to say this. The Soatica.
Oh yeah.
Soatica. I think that is how the greeting that you give in Thailand. So y'all can tell I need some work, but I'm working on it. And I think that yes, weaving ourselves in definitely is going to help you connect to your neighbors, to your Adelia said something. She said, it helps me to be visible. And she said it like this: if there's an earthquake in Mexico City, I want the doorman to recognize, hey, that lady with the short, at the time, the short pink hair with the little dog is missing. I haven't seen her. And I was like, you know what?
I don't want to disappear into space. I want to be a part of that space.
Or stand out because I'm not intentionally connecting.
This is our motto.
Yes, thank you, Greta.
That should be on the front of our page right there.
Yeah,
because that is the truth. I want to be a global citizen. Yes, allergy season is wearing me out.
Yes.
You hiding over here. It's wearing me out.
There are some places that that we've looked at some longer term visas. There's some 10-year visas in Africa that we're taking a look at. There are, y'all, my heart is heavy when I look at the citizenship picture that other ethnicities, because they're able to track back to great grandparents and beyond, that they have access to Italy, that they've got access to, to Ireland, that they've got access to places. And there are pathways now that places like Kenya and Ghana and some other African countries that recognize that is lost because we were
displaced.
Yes. Displaced is a better word than
I know
the whole list of vocabulary words I was going through.
Hey, I got your bag.
And so we have heritage and connection, and I don't want to miss highlighting that those opportunities do exist on the continent of Africa, where I think being able to connect to a few places, and I'm saying I wanted to have this conversation because the pandemic itself made me think about what would happen if the world shut down and I was in another part of the world. How could I mean, if you all listen to people like Adelia that were outside the country, in a country that they didn't want to be in, long term, like to ride the pandemic out, the cost of tickets, the requirements, and restrictions that countries were having, especially coming from where she was coming from. Like, I need a couple of places. I mean, not to use a doomsday approach, but y'all, we may need some leverage out here. And so our conversation always starts with, you can't have leverage without the credential. If you don't have your passport, if you don't know when your passport expires, if you don't know when your children's passports expires, as a parent, that is a priority for us. Keeping up with your documentation, making sure don't come with no expired visa, when you can make the time and stay on top of these documents that give you access. I implore you, please get your passport and keep it current. Stay on top of the window for applying for your temporary residency renewal, as well as when you have the option or opportunity to enter a permanent residency. If it matches what your goal is, you can do these residencies in multiple places. and may want to consider doing that so that you have access to, hey, maybe I want to partner up with a few people. We get an apartment and I want to spend 3 months here, and then this apartment is shared with some other couples, and we rotate in and out on a kind of a hoteling kind of thing, but it's a permanent place. I don't have to drag my luggage all over the world. I can have what I need in this place, and then other things that I can keep safely with a contractual agreement with some other folks that when I leave that space, that this partnership group, that we're a part of, that they can drop in, and we can create those opportunities for ourselves. Co-living is another reason why I think residency is on my list as well, because the laws are a little more flexible for business ownership and some other things outside the US. So giving yourself options and opportunities. There are multiple paths, y'all. And I'm saying this as somebody who this week, when I was extremely ill, some days I had a fever. I stayed at work and I was just like, this is for the birds.
Mm-hmm.
I should be centering, especially at my age, what do I need to live, and trying to outpace inflation, shrinkflation, and all the other impacts of how our money, the more money we make, doesn't go as far. And so we have to do more and get less. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable.
We have, I believe, struggled in the Black community in the States with making a connection, with bonding together. And it may be that we learn to do that globally by expanding our horizon and where we are in the world, and that we are a vast community. We're not just this little group of people stuck in the middle of the United States. We are a vast community around the world. If we reconnect with each other around the world, we may strengthen this community. We've been struggling to do so here because we're connecting not only with African Americans, but we connect with Africans. We connect with Caribbeans. We connect with Afro-Mexicans and Afro-Brazilians and on and on around the world, because we are everywhere.
We are.
And if we can reconnect reignite the nomadic spirit and find ourselves in broader spaces, I think that would really impact this look on where am I going to be? Where should I land? And should I land? Yeah. Finding a place to be comfortable is great, but are we really settlers? I think we are adventurers, and I think we ought to adventure more. I
want to make sure before you take this down, I guess I'm going to drop her information in, as well as someone that's talking about strategy, Abroad Ability. Shared her journey of collecting her documents. Her family of origin is from Jamaica, so she shared that journey. I'm going to have her on this channel. She said she would get with me as soon as she got back to talk about whether you're repatriating. Oh, I can't believe I cannot remember Clarice's channel. Okay, so I'm going to drop Clarice. If y'all are from Exodus Summit, you all know and love Clarice. She's one of the admins of the Exodus Summit group, but she has a group where she also acts as a facilitator to helping people that have Jamaican heritage specifically, but there are other people in other places in the Caribbean that can help you repatriate. If you have a parent, a grandparent, get that extra passport, y'all. I mean, if you've got any way to document it, you want to, while people are living, if you can, go ahead and get that.
Is that it?
Yes, welcome Mazel. This is why. Yes, it's Mocha Mazel. That's right. Clarice's channel is the Mocha Mazel. I will put a link in there as well. Thank you, Latanya. Girl, don't count on my brain, not in its stuffy state. So I appreciate it. So
D and I do consulting.
yes.
Our links are in the description. These are opportunities for us to share with you and for you to share with us your ideas, and we can help work together towards a process. Please consult with us. Please join us on consultations. We are continuing to try to grow. We are working on some projects that we are been tippy-toeing around that we're going to put into play. That I have been tippy-toeing around. I'm sorry.
That's all right, baby. Ownership.
I have been tippy-toeing around that I will throw out there, and we will put up some polls that we would like for you all to respond to, because there are some things that we want to get your feedback about how we should proceed as H&D abroad, and as some things that we'd like a broader perspective on. So if you see those polls, you're hanging around, you know,
we are sharing those things in our Patreon group. We are sharing them. We'll be sharing them on the community tab of our YouTube channel. And I have not done it on Instagram, but we probably could also do it there as well. So yes, darling, Bayesian Alpha 4, hey, I claim it. I'm buying the ticket shortly. We are we're waiting to hear if we get placed in Spain with NowCap. We are waiting regardless, I'm going to visit family. And so we will be spending some time in the Christmas markets of Europe and some time in Spain, because I need to know how cold it gets there. So we will definitely reach out on at least by the end of the year, if not before. So take advantage of what we have dug and learned and massaged, and learn who we're watching, who we are, how we are allowing our process to be informed. I'm not waiting to know everything. Okay. I need to know enough to put myself in the right places. And then we're hoping we are encouraging a continued learning process as you are in the travel, bop around, move abroad space. So that's pretty much the core of our consulting. We need to hit 100 news folks in the newsletter before we start rolling it out. So come on through. So thank you. There we go. Mocha Mazel. That's right. Okay. Yes. We are so thankful that you guys join us every week. Want to say thank you to those who see us on the homepage of YouTube and join us.
Grow up.
And don't want you to forget how this channel gets suggested to others to join who may be searching for the content that we hope you are benefiting from. Please like this video. Subscribing to the channel and setting the notifications are what sends a message if you've got the app. to let you know that we are live. We are live every Saturday, Monday, and Thursday. And notice I said Monday.
See her? Let's see. Next Saturday, we may have to do a recording.
Why?
We're gonna already be.
Nope.
Okay, so maybe not. We'll be in place.
We will be in place next Saturday.
All right,
Ooh,
sure.
He's saying that because guess what? House sit, house sit, house sit. It's house sitter season. So if you are considering a great way to travel to get to know a city, we've got a discount code for you to join Trusted House Sitters where you can exchange.
Trust me, it's worth it.
Oh my gosh.
Even if you do it in your own town, it's worth the experience.
You're exchanging either caring for someone's home, plants, and or pets for free accommodations. We've got a whole playlist of trusted house sitters and house sitting. So, and this conversation, this visa conversation, is literally how it's giving other folks access to being in beautiful places at no cost, but they can be there for a longer period of time than just as a tourist. All right, that's all I had to share for today.
It's good to be here with you.
Absolutely.
Hit the like button. Stop. There you go, right there. Hit the like button. We are so glad to see you. If you haven't subscribed, if you're new to our channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll know when we're here.
Yeah, Miss Mocha Mama, we just did you may want to get in community. That's how we talk here, is if you want to do a thing, a way to get some grease and some encouragement and some excitement and some feedback. If you're nervous about certain things, it's getting community. Diamond Crystal was on our channel about 3 weeks to a month ago. She's on that Trusted House Sitter playlist. And the details about how to join her community are there.
Do a consultation with Dee.
Oh, well.
Talk with her. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah, I'm pet sitting. It's a whole new world.
Y'all have a good Saturday.
Bye.
Bye.